Before I actually get into the training for tonight, there are a couple of things I'd like to discuss with you, mainly revolving my entire strategy that I use to target products that are on Amazon and then to build a website surrounding them. The first step of this process that I do is actually to go to Amazon itself, which is really a little bit backwards from how a lot of other people were traditionally taught to do it and how a lot of other marketers teach it. They'll typically recommend to go to Google, for example, to do some keyword research, and then to proceed on with picking products that go along with that keyword research. However, since my sole focus is to really promote and refer sales on these Amazon products, I'm simply looking for some insurance that I have made a good choice from the get-go before I then proceed to do all of the other work that is necessary. The first thing that I'm doing, I actually go to the Amazon homepage, and I will simply use all of the Amazon categories that are over here on the left-hand side of the page to browse through the Amazon website to actually select products that I might be interested in promoting. Now, this is just some preliminary research to get started on. This is not necessarily picking one specific product or one particular niche and making, a surefire decision to go ahead and proceed with building the site. This is just some initial research that we are doing to try to pick out some quality products that are worth promoting on Amazon, and maybe they even have something about them that will make them easier to sell. So what I'm going to do here is to actually browse through some Amazon product categories for you. You have main categories over here on the left. Within each of these, you have even more main categories on Amazon, and there's even a full store directory link down here at the bottom that you can use to get their complete listing of their main categories. And many of these main categories, once you click on one, like I'm going to go into the bedding and bath category here. Once you click on one, there's all of these links down the left-hand side of the page. These are even more subcategories that are found within this one particular category. If you scroll down the page, you can see that a number of these categories are actually featured on this category page. Even further down the page, you have specific brands that are actually featured here, and below each of the brands, you have all these links that point to particular groups of products that these companies are manufacturing and selling on Amazon. And down at the very bottom of the page, you actually have this section called Bedding from Penzon by Amazon.com. And Penzon, if you're not aware already, is actually Amazon's brand that they actually have manufactured, and they sell these products on Amazon exclusively. And these are actually high-quality products that have very competitive pricing because Amazon does not have the traditional markup needed for retailers to make a profit. So anytime that I see these products from Amazon, specifically an Amazon brand that they're actually having manufactured, these are particular products that there may be some type of additional advantage to promoting on the website. So all of these different categories here and all of the different links down the left-hand side of the page, any one of these things could really be considered a niche. If you're not already aware of what a niche is, something like bedding and bath could be a niche, but it would be nearly impossible for one person to actually target everything within the bedding and bath category and to actually provide useful information, product reviews on that entire subject matter simply because you're only one person. So what you're looking to do is to become an authority on a particular subject that has Amazon products related to it. And in order to do this, to accomplish this being just one person, you have to make sure that you are selecting a niche that is specialized enough so that you could actually talk about that subject and review the products in that niche within a reasonably sized website. I typically will try to build a website maybe 20 pages or so in length. Some of these might be product pages, others might be more informational, educational types of pages that are geared towards helping people learn something that they're looking to learn or solve a problem, and you can then help to direct them along to related products that they might be able to purchase. So what I'm going to do here is to actually go into one of these categories so I can talk to you a little bit more about it in detail. So I'm going to select this down bedding category from Amazon. Over on the left, even though I've gone into an additional category, there's even more subcategories that are provided for me here that can refine my searches. You can even specify particular colors or brands, and then you have other options that are always included with products just depending on what type of product it is. Since these are all bedding products, we have different bedding sizes: twin, full, queen, king. And there's also thread count, since we're dealing with products like sheets and things of that nature. You can even refine your results based on an average customer review or perhaps a price point. One of my favorites is the new arrivals. You're actually provided the most recent products that have been released on Amazon under this particular category or search. And they'll provide you the last 90 days worth of products and sometimes even the last 30 days worth of products if there have been products released during that time period. When you have a product that has been around on Amazon for any kind of extended period of time, obviously you're going to have more and more affiliates that could potentially see those particular products and may want to then begin promoting them. So obviously anything that is brand new to Amazon will simply have had less eyes that have run across it, and as a result you're going to have less competition. However, don't just blindly go out there and start promoting every new product that you can find, because you know, it would be worth a little bit of additional research to ensure that it is actually a new product and not just something new that a vendor has just listed on Amazon. Because there's definitely a big difference there between a new product on Amazon and a new product on the market, period. You're really looking for the products that are completely new to the marketplace, period, and not just on Amazon. If you can't find new products to promote, that's quite all right. You can still promote existing products from Amazon. You simply have to know what you're looking for and how to select the right products that you're going to be promoting on your site. For this particular example, I'm looking a little bit closer here at this Azon brand, and I'll get into exactly why I am doing that in just a couple of minutes here for you. But the products that you see listed, once you have been able to whittle them down to a reasonable number of results, you can start browsing through the products that are shown on the Amazon website and take a look through the basic information that they provide for you for these products. Now, one thing in particular that I like to look for is this little check mark here with the word Prime beside it. This is for Amazon Prime, which is actually an annual fee membership program that they offer. And a lot of people that have Amazon Kindles, for example, may end up being members of Amazon Prime. And this simply allows them to get various benefits on the Amazon website, and one of them is that they can get free shipping on particular products. Most of the time, these are going to be products that are either fulfilled by Amazon, which means that you have a vendor that is selling a product on Amazon, and instead of fulfilling all the shipping for those products themselves, they will sometimes package up a bunch of products all at once and send them to Amazon's warehouse, and Amazon will actually ship those products out to each of the individual customers. Then the other type of product that you have is going to be the products that Amazon actually manufactures themselves. These products are always going to be Amazon Prime eligible. But in addition to that, I feel like there is something a little bit more to these Amazon exclusive products, simply because people can't run out to a retail store and buy one. If they want to buy one, Amazon is going to be the only place that they can get that exact product. So now, when I'm browsing through my listings here, in addition to looking for products that might be eligible for Amazon Prime, I'm also scanning the review ratings for these products. I'm looking for products that are either going to be new to the marketplace and do not have any reviews whatsoever, or I am looking for something that has good reviews on it. Typically, this might be maybe in the 3.5-star neighborhood. For example, this pillow right here, which is 3.7 stars, might at least be looking into a little bit closer to see if it is worth promoting or not. But I would actually want to read the exact reviews. You can see over here that there are a number of negative comments on this one, so I would again want to look a little bit closer into this and read some of those reviews before deciding whether to promote it or not. Now, one thing in particular that you do always want to look out for is out-of-stock products. Typically, you do not want to promote something on your website that is out of stock on Amazon, simply because you can't earn a commission if that product isn't available to be sold. However, there are some particular exceptions to this rule, and for this reason, I'm actually going to go into this one particular product to explain more about this for you, so I can show you exactly why you want to look closer at the out-of-stock products. Now, first of all, when you first land on an Amazon product page here, they tell you a ton of information about these products. I will typically learn maybe half of what I know, if not more than that, solely off of the information that Amazon is providing for me here. Before you actually get into the information, one thing to point out to you here, up at the top, right below this title here, is a little sentence that says, "By Penzon by Amazon.com." This is where you're actually going to see the vendor of the product that is being sold. So this is one particular way that you can tell for sure whether a product is perhaps being sold by the actual manufacturer of that product, or perhaps it's simply something that has been purchased and is being resold. I like to target the products that are going to be sold by a reputable vendor, simply because those products are going to convert better for you, because people are much more likely to purchase something from a vendor that either has really good feedback or might already have some type of name recognition with that consumer. So the Amazon line of products obviously is going to be one of the best potential types of products that you could promote here, because if they're willing to go through and complete a purchase on Amazon, then they won't have any hesitation whatsoever about Amazon being the actual vendor. I actually do some shopping on Amazon.com myself, and the vendor is one of the primary things that I'm on the lookout for, because sometimes you can order a product and think you might be getting it in a couple of days when in fact it's being shipped from some drop shipper in Hong Kong, perhaps. Now, can you do a search for by Amazon.com? Yeah, I believe if you just simply like click on that brand name there, for example, then that will bring up all of the products that are, say, the Penzon brand. And you could do, other similar searches like that. They also have some vendor pages. I guess Amazon doesn't actually do it for theirs, but for the other vendors that are there, sometimes you can hover over this link and it will offer you a link to view that vendor's other products as well. This little yellow tag right here is says Amazon.com exclusive. This is how you can be absolutely positive that a product is not only perhaps sold or manufactured by Amazon, but is actually exclusive to their website. And again, the reason why I like to promote this type of product is simply because of the name and brand recognition that they have, and also because people can't run out to a retail store and buy it, which reduces the competition. The only place to get that particular product is on Amazon. And compared with other typical retailers, Amazon's operating costs are lower to produce and sell products than perhaps a retailer that runs an actual store. And so they do seem to be very competitive with their pricing, which is yet another selling point, making it a lot easier to sell to consumers, because if they can find a comparable product that they were looking at in a retail store and they can find it online for a cheaper price, those are some of the primary situations where it's easy to attract sales to your affiliate sites. Now again here, before I continue a little bit more, I want to mention to you that you don't have to necessarily go after these Amazon.com exclusive products. I'm simply using this as a chance to mention to you guys that these products are out there, because there are a lot of affiliates that don't even realize that Amazon is selling products themselves. Some people may even think that Amazon sells everything that is on Amazon.com. It's actually more of a marketplace, kind of like eBay is, except it's typically more new goods than used goods. However, there are plenty of used products that are still available for sale on Amazon by just ordinary people who have bought the product and used it for a while and simply don't want it anymore, and perhaps they want to get some money out of it. Now, I had mentioned before that this product was temporarily out of stock. Whenever you find one of these products, it is very important to consider exactly why the product might be out of stock. Sometimes, if it is being sold by some random vendor, for example, they may not have any intentions of replenishing the stock on a product. and so it may simply stay out of stock forever. However, if you're dealing with Amazon.com exclusive products, I feel extremely confident in still going through with a promotion on these products, simply because I realize that Amazon will resupply these products, and chances are they're out of stock simply because there's a lot of demand for the product. So sometimes this can actually be a good sign and not a negative sign. And the other part to consider about something being out of stock is, let me jump back to this previous page for you. If you're just briefly scanning these listings and you glance at this one right here and see that it is temporarily out of stock and immediately dismiss it as being a potential product that you could promote, then you could actually be missing out on a really good product here. Once I go into the product, you can see down here under size that there are actually a couple of different options for this particular product. Now, with some Amazon products, the option here may not actually change anything about what you're purchasing. It may not change the price. It may not change any of the product information that is available for you here. But with other types of products where these options that are listed would obviously be a completely different product depending on the option that you have selected, then the temporarily out of stock statement may actually only be limited to this one particular option that is selected. For this product, this is a down comforter. I have the full or queen size selected here, but you can see that there is also a twin size and a king size. And if I click on one of these additional sizes, you can see that it changes the price and that these are actually in stock. If I click on the twin, you can see that this one is also in stock. So this product is still available to be promoted and to actually be sold right now. It's simply the queen size of this comforter that is currently out of stock, but the other two are still available, and I could promote one of these two sizes directly instead of perhaps the queen size. Or I could still promote the queen size, because if I look at the actual text that is stated here, people can still order products that are out of stock. They don't get charged for the product when they order it. They actually only get charged when that item is available once again, and then it is automatically shipped out to that person and their credit card is billed. And at that point, as an affiliate, you would then receive the commission on that particular purchase. And that is not something that is limited by your affiliate cookie, for example. The standard Amazon cookie, it only lasts for 24 hours, although I also teach ways that you can use a 90-day cookie instead, which I will be getting to once we reach the advertising portion of this class. I would like to show you a couple more things here with the product information that Amazon provides for you. You obviously have some basic information that is given to you up in this top portion of the listing here, but if you continue to scroll down the page and look at some of the other information that is presented for you here, there's actually quite a bit of work, I feel like, that Amazon has already done for you. The first section here that I'd like to mention, this frequently bought together section, this actually is based on real-time sales data from Amazon, they actually, when somebody purchases this main product that you're looking at, they look and see what other products are being purchased along with that main product. And they're showing something here that has actually been commonly purchased together. So that's typically indicating that actually more than one person out there has purchased this product and then purchased these two particular additional products or accessories along with it. So these may be prime candidates of products that you could then target alongside of your main product here. In addition to those two products that are listed up at the top, you also have this second section down below, which lists many, many more products than what is shown up above here. Now, these products are also products that were purchased by the same consumer that purchased the main product that is shown in this particular page. However, it does not necessarily mean that these products were purchased together on the same transaction. However, a lot of times you will find that the products listed down here are highly relational products that could easily work alongside of your main product, or maybe they could simply be featured on additional pages of your website. And you have quite a bit of products to choose from here in a lot of situations. This particular page has 10 additional or 10 total pages of frequently purchased products here that you can actually look at. And a lot of these for this particular product are other Azon brand products. In addition to that, you have even more product information that Amazon provides for you. This product details area right here, I always like to at least glance at this area. In particular, I'm looking at the shipping section here. I want to make sure where this product can actually be shipped to. Sometimes on Amazon.com, a product could still be shipped internationally, for example, and then there are other products that may only be able to be shipped within the United States. A great example of this is pretty much anything that is electronics. Obviously, other countries have different plugs for their electronics, and as a result, they're actually manufactured and given completely different model and brand names than the ones that are sold here in the United States. So you're not going to have, for example, a television set purchased from Amazon.com and then delivered over to Europe, for example. Those customers would always be purchasing on one of their local Amazon sites. So make sure that whatever you are targeting is actually going to be attracting the correct audience, because you don't want a site filled with non-USA traffic when you're promoting products that can only be shipped to the United States. It's simply an easy setup for failure, and a lot of times people may not even realize exactly why their site is failing, because they see traffic on the site and they simply don't see any earnings. So always make sure that your target audience is going to actually be able to purchase your products off of Amazon. I'm going to be digging into this a little bit deeper here in just a few, but while I am at this section of the page, I also wanted to point out this Amazon Bestsellers rank right here. These are links right here to various top 100 bestseller pages on Amazon. And the good thing about this particular setup is that you can select the particular category that you want to see the list for. You could look at the more broad category up here at the top, home and kitchen. But obviously, if you were looking for a product that was highly relational to the same product, then you might want to drill all the way down to the lowest list down here to look at other more relational products. Obviously, this is a down comforter, so to get other comforters, I'd want to be looking in either this category or this particular category. I'm sure I could still find them in these two categories, but they would be mixed in with a bunch of other products, basically. Amazon also provides a product description for most of their products. This is actually information that is provided directly from the vendor that has created this Amazon listing. So sometimes you're going to get a couple of sentences worth of information, and other times you're going to get really long pages worth of HTML and images, maybe even comparison tables. It all just depends on the product and who has listed the product. Now, if it's Amazon that has listed the product, chances are they have provided some type of more detailed product description than just a couple of sentences here. For example, go look at the Kindle Fire page that Amazon has created. It is extremely long and includes all kinds of different pictures and information and comparisons and things like that. Now, the key thing to remember here is that I don't really encourage people to take content from Amazon and to reuse them on their websites unless they're going to be adding a lot of their own unique content along with it. You will often see Amazon affiliate websites that essentially contain nothing more than the information that can be found on Amazon's product page. And a lot of times this information is repeated verbatim. And it's simply impossible to get and maintain high search engine rankings in that manner because why wouldn't Amazon's page that probably contains even more information than that, why wouldn't it simply rank better than your page? So the idea here is not to actually copy Amazon's information, but it is to learn from Amazon's information. You want to learn about the products so you can actually write about them and teach other people about them in your own words and in your own way. And that alone is honestly one of the key deciding factors to whether this particular strategy works or is a complete flop. It's typically the people that put the extra time and effort into that type of stuff that build these successful websites, whereas people that are doing more automated content, for example, simply trying to take shortcuts, will find that their sites just sit there. Going even further down the page, I want to mention the product ads here for just one quick second. I at least like to glance at these particular product ads that Amazon is showing on a product that I am interested in promoting. Now, these ads can always change, so what you're seeing now will not necessarily be there if you go to look at it again tomorrow. However, I simply want to make sure that there is not something being promoted here that is so appealing that I would be likely to lose traffic that I'm sending to Amazon through one of these advertisements. This is kind of the one negative drawback to sending traffic to Amazon, because they actually allow outside websites to pay them for advertising on their product pages. And if somebody clicks on one of these links, they'll be taken out to that other website and may complete a purchase there, and you're not going to be getting credit for that type of stuff. So again, I'm looking simply to make sure that there's not basically the exact same product available down here for essentially a cheaper price, because that's obviously going to be one of the major things that will catch people's eyes and make them want to click on one of these ads, is if they see the same product but being promoted for a cheaper price. Obviously, with the Amazon exclusive products, you really do not have to worry about this, because anything that is being promoted here will not be the same product. It may be a product like it or highly relational to it, for example, but you'll never find the exact same one listed there because it's an Amazon exclusive. So that's yet again another benefit to going after these Amazon exclusive products. A little further down the page, you also have another listing of products here that has been viewed by the same customer on Amazon. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they bought it, but it means that they may have potentially been interested in it while also being interested in this particular item. Now, here you're going to end up with a lot of relational items. So again, this is another list that you could use for your own research purposes, and go through these products and see if any of these products would also be worth taking the time to promote on your website. I had mentioned before that some products that you want to do even more research into them, especially when it comes to customer reviews on those products. And this is another reason why I really love Amazon, because Amazon has all that information right here for you to read. And there's simply no better place to get reliable information about a product unless you've used it yourself than simply from another customer who has used it. So you can go here and simply read and learn about these products. See what people like about them, see what people dislike about them, maybe try to figure out why they ended up purchasing the product. And if there is a problem with it, maybe even figure out what they ended up purchasing and were happy with as a result. Because on most of the Amazon products where you have a lot of reviews, you can find almost all of that information somewhere here. If you can't find it in the initial reviews that Amazon provides for you, you can look at all of the reviews with a link here at the bottom of the page and read all couple hundred reviews if you really want to, and get a really, really solid picture of what a product does and how it is useful and why people purchase it, basically. This information can be extremely invaluable to you when it comes time to actually start building your website. And not only that, but it can help you decide which products you actually want to try to promote on your site. Because obviously you want to be promoting quality products that people are likely to buy, but then they're also going to be happy with the product once they get it in their hand and are using it. Because you simply don't want to be promoting a bad product that would have high refund rates on it, for example. That's a good point. Stan is asking, how much time should you allow for research and analysis so you do not get stuck essentially being paralyzed by it? I do not dwell on it too horribly much until I have actually decided which niche I'm going to be using on my website. Obviously, I want to be able to find some good products that I can promote that will be the basis for my niche website, but I don't want to simply spend too much time learning every single detail about all of those products until I'm absolutely sure that I will really be targeting that niche. And this way you don't end up learning everything about a particular niche and then going on to figure out that perhaps the search engine competition for that niche is too high. And then so you throw out all of that work and move on to something else. So essentially there's not really a time limit or anything, Stan, but you just want to be careful not to dive too deep into something. Actually like to use just standard notebook paper, and I'll go through and make a list of the potential niches that I'm running across when I'm browsing through these sites. I will even open up sometimes like a notepad file and simply copy the title and the page URL of an Amazon product and just make a list of them to give me something that I could go back through at a later point in time. And if you're copying the link URLs, I usually just copy right up through this point. You don't need all of this additional information on the back end of the URL here. Just up through the actual ASIN of the Amazon product, which you can see in the link here directly after the letters DP. So all you need is up through this / that actual link will bring you to this page. A no more than number. Are you referring to like products that you're researching, or perhaps coming up with some potential niches that you could use, Stan? If it's, I mean, really in either situation, products and time. The products, you're not necessarily looking to collect information and research on a ton of different products, but you're more or less wanting to try to find maybe just a couple of products that would fit into one specific niche, and then simply write down that niche idea. I would maybe take no more than an hour or two at the very most to research any one particular niche or products that would fit into that niche, at least on Amazon, before then proceeding to the next step in the process. However, I will sometimes get together a couple of niche ideas before I then actually proceed to the next step, because if I find something that has competition that is too high, for example, then I might toss it out and simply move on to the next one. So if you plan on building more than one site, then if you do a little bit of extra research in that manner in terms of getting more niches than you're actually going to need immediately, you can still essentially research a couple at one time and take your best choice from all of them. And you could even revisit some of those later choices once you've completed one site and you're ready to move on to the next site, for example. One last thing that I would like to point out here is you remember I was referring to this product being out of stock. Now, if you go down to the bottom of the page and look at the most recent customer reviews that are listed here, you can sometimes get a sense of when a product was last in stock and being purchased on a regular basis. For this particular product, you can see that there was something just a couple of days ago. Before that, most of the reviews seem to be from about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and moving on up from there. So it really kind of seems like this product just recently went out of stock, possibly about 2 weeks ago, I would estimate. And so the chances of it being placed back in stock again are honestly pretty good, especially since it is an actual Amazon exclusive product, something that they are manufacturing for themselves to sell. Now, in addition to that, as far as the reviews go here, and using this information, I wanted to talk about that just a little bit more in depth here. With this particular product category, for example, there are certain things that would be pretty obvious. Like with down comforters, you would typically have most of your sales in the colder months of the year, whereas your warmer months of the year would generally have less sales. So this might be something that is considered to be a seasonal niche. And I'm typically okay with promoting and building sites centered around a seasonal niche, as long as I feel like it is something that will be around every single year. It's not something seasonal that might be a seasonal fad, and after one season it will be gone. I'm looking for something that comes back around every single season at the same time of year. And as an added bonus, if there is still some type of demand on that product throughout the whole year, then there's obviously still going to be some sales on it when it's out of season, but the bulk of the sales would come through during the peak season, for example. And the reason I mentioned customer reviews having to do with this is because if you're really not sure whether a product is seasonal or not, or whether there are certain conditions that people will purchase those products under, the reviews are one way that you can find that out for yourself. And in addition to that, I also like to look for perhaps selling points that I could use here. Just as an example, with this particular type of product, you can see here, like if you just read through even one review, you can see that people are talking about price, that in brick and mortar stores, that the high quality down comforters were also high priced, and they simply couldn't find one that they liked for a reasonable price point. And so for this person, at least, the price was kind of a deciding factor in why they actually purchased it. And you can even see that they go on to say that the box stitching on the comforter was another one of their major reasons for purchasing this particular product. It keeps the down filler on the inside of the comforter from sliding around and getting bunched up. It essentially keeps it all evenly distributed throughout the entire comforter. And for people that have owned down comforters before, this is a major problem for a lot of them, because the bunching can cause one part of it to become really hot while the other part of it might not be providing enough heat. And so you can pick out and pinpoint these particular selling points, which make really, really great content for you to use when it comes time to building your actual website. Now, again, I'm mentioning all of this now simply because I'm here on the Amazon website, and talking about the products and the product information that Amazon provides for you. But as I was talking about with Stan previously, you don't actually want to go through and do this really in-depth research too much until you have actually decided on your niche. But if you're not sure about your niche, you can go and check out this information and see if there is something special about the product that makes it an easy sell on a website, for example. The last thing that I would like to cover here on this particular product page is the customer question and answer section down at the bottom. Like I was talking about with the reviews, this is something very, very similar to that. These are often customers who might be interested in buying the product, but perhaps they have a question about it, and they're looking for an answer on it before they will actually proceed to buy it. And again, this can be translated into selling points for affiliates. Important pieces of information that you can address up front on your website to, number one, make it more useful for people, but also to answer all the questions and solve the problems of the consumers so they are confident with proceeding with their purchase because they have all of their questions answered and feel like it will be a good fit for what they're looking to buy. Now, I'm going to go back to the home page here of Amazon because I want to talk to you about some of the other ways that I go through Amazon and find products that I could promote or to research potential niches. Amazon has a lot of special pages that they make available to you. One of these is the Gold Box page. You can reach it by clicking on the Today's Deals link up at the top of the page. And within this page, you have a number of different sections of deals that Amazon makes available for its customers. But then as an affiliate, you can also promote these deals. And often they are easy sells because they're usually at a steep discount. Up here in the top left-hand corner, you have the deal of the day. This is just essentially the featured deal that Amazon has picked out for today, and this changes every single day. But it's typically a pretty decent discount and often some type of product that there's at least some kind of market out there for. It's kind of funny they picked Knight Rider. I remember that when I was a kid. Up in the right-hand corner here, the lightning deals. These are essentially the same thing, except instead of also just being time-sensitive deals, these are actually limited quantity deals as well. And they typically start and end at a particular time. During the busy months of the year, for example, the holiday shopping season, Amazon runs a ton of lightning deals, and they're going on typically starting every 15 minutes or so throughout the entire day, and there's really a lot of great products that are available. To be able to promote these lightning deals, though, you would have to actually monitor this particular page on Amazon to pick out the products that you would want to promote. Because there's really no automated way to retrieve those products. Further down here, you have the best deals section. This is more deals just like the deal of the day, except these have simply not been featured as the deal of the day. However, they are also limited time offers with some type of usually steep discount involved. Now you can browse through these manually by simply clicking on the arrow buttons here. You can also sort the results. And then down at the bottom, you have different categories here that you could select. And this will actually refine your results from up above to make it a little more realistic to actually hunt through all this stuff to find some good deals that you could promote on your site. Now, with the exception of the lightning deals that are up here in the top right-hand corner, all of the other deals that are on this page, the best deals down at the bottom, and also the deal of the day up here at the top, all of these can be automatically retrieved and promoted on your websites using software. I actually have already created software to do this for you guys, which is one of the WordPress plugins that you received as part of this webinar series, and that is Daily Deal Azon. You can set up a particular page on your website, for example, that will automatically find and promote deals, and you can even specify keyword phrases or categories or price limits to get it to pick out more relevant deals for your website content. So the actual gold box deals, these can automatically be promoted on your sites. But I still wanted to talk to you about this page because of the lightning deals up here, because you can only promote these by actually visiting this page, finding the deal that you want to promote, visiting that page on Amazon, and simply promoting that particular page with an affiliate link while the lightning deal is going on. In addition to the gold box deals, up here at the top of the page, you have even more links that are available to you. These are even more specialty types of pages on Amazon's website that they provide. Now, a lot of these, again, are targeted towards consumers, but as an affiliate, you can still take advantage of a lot of this stuff and promote these same deals and offers through your own website to try to increase your click-throughs or your conversion rates. The one that I would like to talk about in particular here is the coupon page. There are a ton of different coupons that Amazon makes available in all kinds of different categories. Even though they have a ton of different categories here, you still won't necessarily find something that is relevant for any given niche. These are typically going to be your more common product types that have these coupons available for them. So in that regard, you may find that a website that would want to promote them might be dealing with some high competition territory. However, I do still recommend dropping by this coupon page whenever you're building a site and just checking it to see if there are any coupons that might be relevant for your site visitors. And if you do find that you have particular sites like that, simply drop back by this page every now and again to update the coupons that you have to offer people. And so you can pass along a discount to somebody and still earn a commission on the sale, and obviously it makes it a lot easier to actually refer sales that way. Now, the next thing that I would like to talk about are some more of the specialty pages on Amazon, but these are actually reached while you're browsing through categories on Amazon's site, or perhaps while you're looking at the product information for a particular product page. And to reach these special pages, one of the easiest ways, at least, that you can get there is through this Bestsellers link that is up at the top. If you are browsing a category, this bestseller link will then point to the bestseller list for that particular category. So these are the best sellers in the bedding and bath category. Now they're going to give you 100 different products here that are the best-selling products in that category. You can browse additional ones in that list by simply clicking on the number index down at the bottom, and it will show you a different listing of products. Now, a lot of people, when they're starting out as an Amazon affiliate, will get a little bit blinded by this list. I wanted to point it out to you so you know it is there and so you can use it as a resource. However, I also want to make sure that you're basically just careful with how you use it, because simply picking out the best-selling product and trying to build a website centered around it may seem like a good idea initially, but chances are there's so much competition centered around that niche already, which has caused that product to become a bestseller on Amazon, is typically reason enough to avoid that. So instead of using this bestseller list to try to find a niche that I might want to promote, instead I might use it simply to figure out if there are some best-selling products that are related to my website that I could promote, because people might be searching for that product on the internet, or it simply might be a good choice that a large majority of people consider for my particular niche. For example, if I scroll down this page, you can see at number 9 that there is this white goose down comforter that is, obviously ranked pretty high in the bedding and bath category, especially since that category can have things other than comforters in it. So to me, this at least indicates that I might want to make a note of this particular product and investigate it a little bit more, at least consider it as a potential product that I could promote with this niche. Again, you can continue to scroll through these results to try to find additional products. Maybe not even a product that exactly matches your niche, but it could perhaps be an accessory product that would go along with a main product that you're already considering to promote. For example, I could promote this mattress pad along with the comforter, and I could even add in, pillows and sheets and, make a complete bedding package out of what originated as just one particular product. Now, over here on the right-hand side, you have a few more categories here that you can look at. These are more specialty pages for this Amazon category that you're currently browsing. You have hot new releases, top-rated products, most wished-for products, and even gift ideas. These also offer top 100 lists for tons of different categories that are out there. The hot new releases, for example, these are not only new arrival products, but they're also new arrival products that are showing some type of sales volume on Amazon's website. And so you could essentially consider them bestseller products, but they're best-selling new arrival products instead. And again, sometimes you will see the same exact products listed in these various categories. This product right here and this product right here look to be the same identical product, even though they're listed in a completely different list. But this simply tells you that this product is not just a popular product, but it's also a new popular product as well. The top-rated products here, these are going to be the products that have received the best reviews from Amazon customers. So a lot of times you'll find that these are rated 5 stars or very, very close to 5 stars. Again, these may be good products to promote, but they may also have a lot of competition around that particular niche. So be sure to, investigate your niches completely before you actually start doing too much product research. Your last two pages down here, the most wished for and the gift ideas, these may actually seem like they could be the same thing, but these are actually used for different purposes on the Amazon website. The most wished for, these are actually products that people add to the Amazon Wishlist system that they have available, or it could also be their registry system. For example, people that create a baby registry or a birthday registry on here. So these are maybe not products that have sold really good, but these are products that there are consumers out there that want these products or want somebody else to buy them these products. So these could potentially be products that do not see a lot of sales volume currently, but they could be in demand out there, and they simply haven't started selling yet because people haven't purchased them for them. One good example of this is like the holiday season. You'll often see new toys, for example, that kids really want. They'll often show up on these most wished for lists before they're actually becoming bestsellers, for example. The gift ideas, these are products that people have actually completed purchases for on Amazon, but during the checkout process, they designate the product as a gift for somebody else. Sometimes it'll be gift wrapped for them, or maybe even shipped to a completely different address from their own address. So these are products that people are actually out there currently buying as gifts for other people. Sometimes I like to target gift categories because if you think about purchasing products for other people, I truly believe that most people will actually spend a little bit less time debating whether they're picking the right product or not if they're buying it for somebody else instead of for themselves. Now, obviously, you're going to have people really close to you in your family that you might actually spend more time picking out a gift for them because you want to make sure it's perfect for them. But I think in an average situation, most people will just go out and simply grab the first product that they can find that is along the lines of what somebody has asked for. Because a lot of times people won't be asking for a particular brand or a specific product. They might just say, hey, I want a baby crib, put it on my baby registry, and somebody will go out and buy a baby crib for them. But they might not actually take the time to go through all the consumer reviews and do all the extra work. Well, with a baby they might, but other products they would be a lot less likely to do so. So I sometimes like to target these gift ideas, or at least build websites centered around them, because they can simply be easier sales when it comes to selling to the consumer. Now, in addition to this, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of my own strategies that I use to actually choose a niche. And this really refers to Once I have found perhaps a couple of products on Amazon that I am thinking about promoting, so I'm going to go back to this comforter idea right here. A lot of people will immediately think, well, I'll just build a website that targets this Penzon brand. Well, number one, the most important thing that you always want to remember is do not ever target a brand name or perhaps a product name that might be registered or copyrighted in some manner. If you want to target them, you must target them through the content of your websites and not through your domain name. Don't ever register a domain name that had the word Penzon in it anywhere, because then let's say on down the road your site gets popular and you're referring all these sales and making a bunch of money every month from those sales. Then if Amazon comes along and says, you know, hey, this guy's doing really good, and they look into your website to make sure that it's essentially legitimately earned money, if they see that you're using a domain name with their brand name in it, they can essentially just call their lawyer and have them issue a letter to you, and you simply have to turn over ownership of your website, content and all, which means you're cut off overnight from all the earnings that may be accrued on the site, and a lot of times they can even seek to collect back earnings from you in those situations. So do not ever try to target a brand name in your domain name, at least. If you want to target something like the Penzon brand name, then you must do this through your website content, as I mentioned before. To do this, you would perhaps create a section of your website that was devoted to Penzon, where you talked about the company and the brand a little bit, perhaps, and maybe then reviewed some specific products that they have for sale. Doing it that way, you're not stepping into that iffy territory that can cause you to lose your earnings down the road. So instead of targeting a brand of a product, for example, or even trying to target a specific product, like I would not want to build a website that only tried to sell this one particular product. I'm looking more or less to target a niche, and to figure out what your niche might actually be based on the products you're promoting, just look at the name of the product in most situations. And if it's not present in the name, just ask yourself, what kind of product is this? And be as specific as you possibly can. So what kind of product is this on the page? This is a down comforter. Obviously, I could try to build a website that simply targeted comforters in general, but there are a ton of different comforters out there on the market. And I simply could never learn about and review all of them and present that information on a website and essentially become the authority on the subject of comforters, because I'm just one person and there's probably dozens of different corporate websites out there that have essentially already done this, and they have entire teams of people working on it. So what I'm looking for is something highly targeted. So I could get a little bit more targeted by targeting down comforters, for example. I could get even more targeted beyond that and target hypoallergenic down comforters, or I could target down alternative comforters. The point is, you need to pick something that relates to the products that you're interested in promoting. But the niche that you are choosing offers room to do more than just promote those products. Using this example yet again, if I build a website about down comforters, I could talk about what people want to know about down comforters, instead of just simply reviewing a long list of comforters. So choosing the right niche is not only about what products you're going to promote in the end, but it's about what your website will actually be about. And the biggest thing that I recommend is that you actually build your website first, and your advertising goes on at the very end of it all. And so in essence, your website should still be a good, useful website before those advertisements are ever put on the website. And if you can look at your website before you add your advertisements and truly think that it is a helpful and useful website, then you should not find yourself having any problems attracting targeted search engine traffic from free search rankings, and also converting that traffic into sales on your advertisements once you do add them to the site. Because there's tons of affiliate sites out there, guys. I'm sure you guys have all seen special offers that are, trying to create these automated Amazon affiliate websites. And you're supposed to be able to, pump them out one after another with the click of a button. And these sites are just supposed to sit around for you and make all this magical money for you every month. But, in reality, while it could potentially work for one person, I have experimented with trying to create some automated systems before, and you can achieve it when you're the only person using it, because it's not noticeable at that point, especially to companies like Google, for example. But then when they see that there are thousands of different websites all being created in the same manner and using the same content source, then they can easily develop new changes to their ranking algorithm, for example, that simply tosses out all of those useless websites. And if you guys caught any of my free webinars about Amazon that I was doing last month, I even talked about Google reviewers. They actually, through an independent company, employ real people that are actually going out there and performing Google searches, looking at the top 10 results, and actually visiting those web pages and ranking them based on how useful of a web page they are for a particular subject. And so even if you find a way to trick a search engine into giving you a good ranking, it simply cannot hold forever, because either Google will update their algorithms to toss that out, or a real Google reviewer will come upon your site eventually and realize that it's simply not a useful website, or perhaps a duplicate of another website, and then your site disappears from the rankings and you're left to try to figure everything out. So my strategy really tries to cover all of the aspects of that for you guys, and help you to overcome those things, not just short term, but also well into the future too, because you don't want to be spending the time to build all of these Amazon sites and then simply have it all yanked away from you at one point. You want to be able to build a recurring income from each of the sites that you create, and then add more sites on one after the next. And so your income continues to grow each month as you produce more websites. I actually want to go off of Amazon for just a minute or two here and show you something. I call it eBay Pulse, but it's really not eBay Pulse anymore. eBay Pulse doesn't even exist anymore. But eBay Pulse used to be a section of eBay where they would show the most popular items that are selling on eBay at any given point in time. And this could be particular products, or it might be certain categories of products. But the general idea is just simply to get some kind of an accurate picture of sales volume from some other consumer-based online shopping outlet besides the one that I'm actually targeting. And now I'm doing this to essentially try to pick niches that might not be as heavily investigated on Amazon as perhaps they might be on eBay, for example, because you do have people that will only work on one of these sites and have nothing to do with the other sites. So you might have somebody that is exclusively selling products on eBay or exclusively promoting eBay products as an affiliate. But the Amazon market for that particular type of product might be fairly wide open. And you can sometimes find, even better deals on Amazon sometimes. But essentially, I am using this page just for additional research. I can pick out niches here over and over and over again by just reading off things from this page. Power Rangers action figures. There's a niche. Obviously, you would want to be extremely careful with your branding there and not to actually use Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in your domain name, but you could definitely target that specific type of toy on a website that was related to that niche. Perhaps an action figure niche for, maybe for boys of a particular age group. Or it could even be, for television shows. You can generalize something like that to still be specific about what you're targeting while still avoiding using the actual trademarked names. Now, in addition to the specific types of products here, you have niches here that are mentioned to you. Vintage engagement rings, Tanzanite rings, skeleton kings. Each of these are a niche on their own. So I'm not necessarily saying to run over to eBay and to pick out, the best-selling products there and to try to target them on Amazon. But if you find yourself not quite sure of what to try to target, if you pick something off of this page here, I can almost guarantee that there is demand out there for that type of product. The question is just simply whether the competition is low enough for you to, be able to break into that particular market. I've used eBay Pulse and now this new page, which is popular.ebay.com. I've been using this stuff for years to come up with new niche ideas. This is actually where I figured out a number of years ago that pet accessories, for example, were heavily purchased online and actually led to me creating a series of different pet accessory product websites like dogcratesizes.com, which I've commonly used in a lot of my ebooks and training webinars for reference. So again, this information can be used in a variety of different ways. And you don't want to use, one source of information solely. Obviously, if you pick something off of eBay here, then go and research it on Amazon a little bit more and see how those products are selling on Amazon and what selection of products is available for you to promote. And, how people have reviewed them, for example. Because on eBay, if somebody purchases a particular product and they have something negative to say about it, future customers of that product on eBay may not be able to see that review very easily. Whereas on Amazon, the reviews and the review ratings are obviously all kept in one central location, making it very easy for people to read this information. So this can work in your favor, but it can also work against you, just simply depending on the product and whether it has good reviews out there for it or not. At this point, does anybody have questions on anything that I have gone over so far tonight? Anything having to do with perhaps how you select the right products to promote, or how to choose a niche that you want to promote, or even how to use a particular part of the Amazon site here when you're researching your products. One question in particular that I've received from a couple of you guys out there that I'd like to go over with real quick is concerning what you're supposed to do if maybe you are not already an Amazon affiliate. Because they go in to look at the Amazon affiliate site, and the application process wants to know your website URL, for example. And then they ask you some different questions about how you're intending on, using the Amazon advertisements, various things of that nature. Yeah, they do ask a lot of different questions there, Paula. Ultimately, the thing to understand is Amazon is not overly picky about accepting affiliates. Over I don't know, 3.5 years or something like that of teaching other Amazon affiliates, I don't believe I have ever heard of a single person being rejected from their program. So in that manner, I don't think that it's something that most people need to fear. It is definitely not like as a comparison, eBay, for example. eBay has a very, very stringent approval process. But when it comes to Amazon, you can actually get approved as an affiliate pretty easily. And they really even will go ahead and approve applications temporarily for you. Like if you just simply fill out that application form, they should go ahead and give you access to their affiliate site and let you go ahead and start sending traffic through the links before they actually give you that final approval. But again, I have not seen any situations where people do not get approval for it. Now, if you do not already have a website in existence, you may want to wait a little while. If you are concerned about whether you're going to get approved or not, simply go through this coaching program with me, and each week, go through the different steps that I'm recommending and work on building your own website. And as we progress, you'll actually have your website essentially completed before you're actually going to be putting your Amazon affiliate advertisements onto the website. So you could simply wait until that point to apply for the Amazon affiliate program. And it really does not take long, and they should go ahead and give you automatic access to start using links while you're waiting on that approval there. In terms of the actual questions that they are asking you, like how you are planning on monetizing the site and things of that nature, I essentially just answer the questions in a way that makes it seem as though Amazon is going to be my only source of advertising on the website, because on most of my Amazon sites, that's really the case. I will not commonly use Google AdSense, for example, alongside of my Amazon affiliate advertisements. And other questions having to do with why you're wanting to add the Amazon advertisements. I actually, when I originally applied, selected the option to, or the reason that I wanted to do that, because I just wanted to add more valuable content to my website to essentially enhance what I'm already offering. So, you know, just answer all those different questions as truthfully as you can, and you know, just be honest with them. Tell them that you're like building a content site, and you know, just give your best response to those questions, and I really do not believe that you will run into any problems in terms of getting approved, especially if you actually go through and build a helpful website based on the way that I teach to build these websites. If they see you applying with a website like that, then they will realize that you are definitely a good candidate and will approve you without any issue. Let's see, Janice is asking, do you do any keyword research on the products you select? I do. That will actually be covered next week. Next week is going to be all about Google. What I basically will do is I'll use Amazon to come up with a small selection of products or niches that I'm interested in potentially targeting, and then I will take that information onto Google and do keyword research with it, and even go on to you know, do domain name research and check out you know, competition and all that other good stuff. So that's actually really my second step of my entire process. Now, the reason why I do that backwards, for at least what some people would consider to be backwards, is actually because the niche is more important for me than the domain name is, for example. And when you're dealing with Amazon products, you may not always find good Amazon products that will go along with any given niche. There was a time when I used to do my domain name research first, and I often found that I'd, you know, come up with a long list of niches or domain names that I could use. But then when I would go to Amazon, a lot of them simply wouldn't check out for me. They, maybe the products wouldn't have good ratings on them, or perhaps I was able to find the same products in retail stores or other websites for a cheaper price or something of that manner. So I really then just kind of switched the way that I did that and just started on Amazon first. And I really found that this helped me to pick out a niche based on an actual product and not really just based on a keyword phrase. Because essentially for any given product that you find, there will be keyword phrases to go along with them. It's just a matter of determining which keyword phrases you want to target for that particular niche. And you may even have a number of different choices. Like with this particular product, I could have targeted comforters or down comforters or down alternative comforters or even hypoallergenic down comforters. And honestly, a wide variety of other possibilities in between there too. I could do down comforter sets. I could do some type of educational approach to down comforters, like teaching people how to pick out the best comforter for their needs, or maybe based on what part of the country they live in, which would be based off of weather and stuff like that, because a lot of people will not want to use these comforters during hot summers, for example. Let's see, Steve, are there any other products you should stay away from other than electronics that you touched on? It's not that I really recommend staying away from electronics necessarily, Steve, but you simply need to be careful with where your traffic is coming from and whether they can actually buy it on the Amazon website or not. Electronics is the easiest category that I could mention, where typically on Amazon.com at least, you're really only going to be limited to ordering those products within the United States. But then there are definitely plenty of other products like that you will find that may still be limited to the USA only. So, make sure you take a look at the shipping information for the products you're interested in promoting. And another option is to, instead of just promoting products off of Amazon.com, for example, you can use all of the different affiliate sites together and direct USA traffic to Amazon.com and direct UK traffic to Amazon UK, for example. One of my plugins that is provided with this course, Product Style, will actually allow you to do that. You could create an advertisement for a television and have it only targeted to USA visitors to your site, for example. And then you could have a completely different product from Amazon UK promoted if your visitors were from England, for example. Let's see. Pamela, I believe I answered that about Google keyword research. We'll be diving into that next week. Essentially, your goal with this week should be to try to go through Amazon and come up with maybe 2 or possibly 3 niche possibilities, so you can then take this information to Google next week and do some additional research and try to select one of those niches to proceed with actually building a site for. Let's see, Will, I believe I answered that already too. Do we have to have a site first before applying to Amazon? I don't know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't know if I can say for sure that they would allow you in without a website. However, you know, if you are not already an Amazon affiliate and that is something that you are worried about, because they obviously do ask you for your website address, is to simply wait a few weeks until we progress through this training program, and then simply apply once you have part of a website set up that you could show to them. Stan, I applied with my personal name. If you have a company name, like a legally registered company name, you know, perhaps you've set up an LLC or something like that, you could provide the name of that business name, but you know, don't use your company name as in like just the name of your website, for example. It should be official, because I believe that they will use that information for tax reporting purposes. Let's see. Paula, I bought my first domain today, need to host it, and then need to start a site, and then apply as Amazon affiliate. Yeah, that sounds like a good way to go about doing all those things in that particular order. Either the web host or the domain name comes first, and then the other one comes second. It really doesn't matter which of those two you set up first or not. If you are looking for a web hosting company, I recommend HostGator. You can have a number of different shared sites all on one shared web hosting account. So you could actually run 10 or 20 different separate domain names, all for one monthly price. As far as monetizing, I really like Amazon will be the only thing that I'm really teaching in this particular class as far as monetizing these sites. However, there are some examples where you could possibly branch out into using other networks to advertise, but it will really just depend on one site to the next. For example, let's say you spend a lot of time building a site, and maybe you're getting a lot of search engine traffic onto your site, but perhaps you're just not able to refer any sales on Amazon products. Let's say you come to find out that the same products could be purchased in a retail store for a lower price, for example. And so maybe that's the reason why you're not getting any sales through to your site. You could then decide to change your advertising from Amazon to something else that would work better to monetize traffic that is not converting for you. And Google AdSense is one of those possibilities that you could use if you have a site with traffic and you simply can't get the advertisements to convert. You could put AdSense advertising there, and as long as people are clicking on those advertisements, you'd still be able to earn something off of the site, even if it wasn't converting anything into sales. But in terms of using a bunch of different networks all together on one site to try to monetize it, I really do not try to do that unless I have a really good reason for it. I will sometimes use like Commission Junction, CJ.com. They have a lot of physical products just like Amazon does, but a lot of their stuff seems to be higher priced than Amazon, and so the only time that I find myself promoting stuff there is typically specialty types of products that are simply not available on Amazon. Sometimes you can find them on other networks. But again, I recommend keeping your focus all, for one site at least, all on a single network. especially when you consider that some of these networks will have minimum payout amounts, like AdSense won't pay you until you hit $100. So if you're spreading out your earnings on all of these different affiliate networks, you might have $50 here and $50 here and $50 there, but nothing has reached your pocket until you top $100 on each of those, for example. Whereas if you had put all of that advertising onto one network and had $150 worth of earnings, all that money would be in your pocket already. So I've found that some people will commonly stretch themselves too thin on affiliate networks. Just make sure you can reach those minimum payouts before you decide to try to branch out. Randy, I believe I touched on a little bit of that briefly earlier. He's asking about like why I started with the products first instead of niche research on a search engine, for example. You can eliminate a niche in those regards on a search engine to eliminate like niches where the competition could be too high, for example. But on the other end of the spectrum, I feel like the same thing really goes for Amazon. You can also eliminate your niches there. It really just kind of depends on what your sole focus is. I believe that doing your search engine research first is really more for people that are more focused on the exact keyword phrase or maybe getting an exact match domain name that they want to use to target a particular niche. I do often use exact match domain names. However, I would never throw out a completely good niche simply because I can't find an exact match domain name for it. So in that regard, I really prefer, maybe it's just a personal tactic of mine, preference of mine, to simply start on Amazon first with my research. If you're in the habit of doing it the other way around already, that is okay. Feel free to go through your search engine stuff first and then return to Amazon. But if you find yourself not picking the right niches or the right products, then maybe try it this way too, sticking with Amazon first. Let's see. Paula, how do you drive traffic to your websites for a newbie? I will be covering traffic quite a bit throughout this webinar series. My main source of traffic, though, just to let you know, is going to be through search engines. I'm looking to get targeted traffic, and I want as much of it as possible completely for free. That way you're not losing anything if something doesn't go right initially. If your traffic is not converting for you, you can have the time to make adjustments to stuff and get everything working correctly. Whereas if you're paying for traffic, for example, you usually need to get it right the first time, or else you're out all of that money and you may not even give it a second shot. So search engines are the basic source of my traffic. However, I will sometimes expand out from there to try to get additional traffic beyond that. It really just kind of depends on the niche and the website. I wonder if that's a newer question on that application, Paula. How do you usually build links? I'm assuming they're talking about from other websites to yours. You may just want to say that you're not really building your own links. I build very, very few links to my Amazon affiliate websites. The only links that I am building to them will typically be from like social media networking sites, things of that nature, highly relational niche websites, possibly, if I can find them. Yes, Pablo, these webinars are recorded. Stan, there was an issue with HostGator recently. However, I believe it was just a network problem with one of their particular data centers, and they do have a bunch of different data centers. I actually had my dedicated server that I use for all of my plugin and business websites, that was actually affected recently in that particular HostGator outage. However, not to say that they don't have outages. I don't think it was for several days at least. My websites were only down for an hour or two at the most over this past week. And again, all of my sites on a shared hosting account, those were not affected at all by that particular thing. So it can really just be kind of random. You're always going to have some kind of downtime at some point with basically any given web host. The key to picking the right one is just simply to pick one that is on top of it and provides good customer support, so that in the event that something does go wrong, that they can help you out and get you set back up and running as quick as possible. And I feel like HostGator does a good job of that, at least good enough to where I've been using them for at least the last 5 or 6 years, if not more than that. Chris, you do not have to get specific approval from Amazon for each site that you build. They do ask that you provide the URLs for each of your different websites. However, I have built new websites before and simply forgot to go in and add it into their system, and you do still collect earnings from those sites. They don't block you off or anything like that if you haven't added your additional websites. I do recommend still adding them in as you get the time to do so, but it's not absolutely necessary. You don't have to get specific approval for every brand new Amazon site that you're building. And you can use the same Amazon Associate ID for all of your different websites, or you can go through for each individual website and set up a tracking ID for that particular site, which will help you to separate all of your advertising tracking and conversions and earnings for each of your sites. So if you're in the building phase where you might need that information, I do recommend getting specific tracking IDs for each of your websites. Let's see, Janice is asking about eBay, and do I add an eBay store to my Amazon sites? Typically, I do not. If there is a really, really good reason to do so, I might. Obviously, you could build websites that target eBay product niches that may not necessarily exist on Amazon. For example, targeting some type of used product, or even targeting collectibles or something like that. You may be able to find the real collectibles sold by actual people on eBay, whereas on Amazon you might just have reproductions or a more modern version of the same product or something like that. So in that regard, I do feel like there are specific situations where eBay could work out good for you. However, I do not commonly add eBay promotions to my Amazon sites. eBay is actually very, very strict when it comes to getting approval for them. You will have to build a completely finished, helpful, informative website, which basically uses little to no advertising before you really even have a hope of getting approved for eBay. How much time to spend on niche research? Would 1 to 2 hours per niche be a good rule of thumb? RC. Yes, that sounds pretty good. If you're going over that, then you probably are spending a little bit too much time, at least initially. You will end up going back through whichever niche you decide to promote and doing some additional research. So don't feel like you have to get everything done and know everything about it initially at this phase in the process. Let's see. Will, I think I may have addressed that too. Can we get a quick summary of top things to do at this stage before the keyword research? Just to make sure your main focus for this week should just be to go on Amazon and to try to pick out a couple of potential niches that you may want to promote on your site. And then next week, then we will take that information and do keyword research on that. For each of the niches that you are picking out on Amazon, maybe just try to find a couple of different products within that niche, just to help give you something to look back at, to use as reference, to possibly use for price comparisons at a later point in time, for example. So you're really just looking for basic information at this point, and essentially looking to find products or niches that are indeed selling on Amazon, and maybe quality products, and may possibly be very competitive prices on products. Any one of those particular things could be a potential basis for picking out a niche. Yes, Marco, Amazon in Japan. There is a Japanese Amazon site. You can definitely decide to build sites that target products on a different Amazon locale, such as the Japanese site. But it really will just depend on what you're trying to refer sales on. If you feel like there is a particular type of product available on that site that is perhaps not a commonly available type of product in the United States, for example, that could be a good niche to target. You just would obviously want to make sure that you're actually targeting Japanese traffic with a website like that, because you don't want to be bringing in USA traffic if that was the case. So it's really just important to make sure that you are promoting the right products to the right people. I guess I could tie this into what Mike is also asking here, as far as UK and France and Germany. If you would like to promote products from numerous Amazon country sites, all from one WordPress site that you put together, then you do need to have a affiliate account for each of the different Amazon country sites. However, if you are only planning on using Amazon.com, for example, then that's not something that you need to worry about. Let's see, Steve is asking if I target a certain price range. I am usually looking for at least a main product on my site to be maybe somewhere in the $100 to $200 neighborhood. I want something that will provide a decent commission if I refer a sale. But then I'm not just solely focused on that. I don't ignore cheaper priced products, for example. I also feel like there is a good place for using the cheaper priced products on a site to supplement your advertisements for your more expensive products, or even just to help to boost your sales volume on Amazon. Because with a lot of categories, Amazon will actually pay you a higher commission the more monthly sales that you have. So in that regard, I try to pick something with a decent commission for my main product, but I'm not solely targeting that specific price range. I definitely consider other things just depending upon whether it fits in with my niche. Let's see, Paula. When it's asking about how many unique visitors your website gets, it doesn't matter what you're selecting there. Just select the lowest possibility there. They're not necessarily looking for people that have websites that are crazy busy and have a ton of traffic. They will still approve lesser websites, or even a website that doesn't have any traffic at all, for example. Let's see, Mike, you mentioned not using a brand name, but what about a website that takes a camera model number like a Canon EOS Rebel T3? You can target model numbers as long as that model number is not copyrighted or trademarked. However, you need to make sure you're getting the correct portion of the model number and not actually getting part of that brand or trademarked name. For example, Canon is obviously going to be the brand name, but then the EOS Rebel, that's essentially their model of the camera. And then I believe the T3 would be the actual model number, or it could be, you may be referring to an actual longer model number for that camera. You would not want to use terms like EOS Rebel, but something like, T3 camera, or even a more specific model number for a particular one of those camera designs would be okay to use in a domain name. This is actually kind of like a strategy that Gaz Cooper teaches and practices himself. He'll actually go around to various conventions and look at the new products that are not released yet, and he'll write down model numbers and try to target those model numbers with his promotions. So model numbers are okay as long as they are used correctly and not violating anything that's illegal. Because you can definitely get away with it for a while. It's not a question of that, but it's simply a matter of you don't want to put yourself in a position where you finally get a successful website and the possibility exists for it to all be yanked away from you overnight. It's just really not worth it. I don't believe it will help your ranking by having AdSense on your site, Peter. There are some people that debate whether it could or not, but I do not believe that that is the case. Oh, really, Nancy? Nancy says it wasn't only HostGator, it was Bluehost and HostMonster that were also down. A lot of hosting companies, which is something that some people really may not be aware of, is that a lot of these hosting companies may actually operate out of the same building or even out of the same network center, for example, because it may not be a network center that they actually own. They might just be simply leasing some space there. So the HostGator servers might be sitting right next to Bluehost servers and HostMonster servers, for example. And then you even have other lesser-known web hosts that may even simply be reselling hosting accounts from the larger named companies. But in those regards, I guess that's one of the reasons why I've always stuck with HostGator, because I feel like they are one of the top tier companies, and I'd rather work through them than a middleman. Let's see, Nancy. That's a good question, Nancy. Nancy is asking, if we have some of those automated Amazon affiliate sites that aren't working, should we try to improve the sites, or would it simply be a waste of time? If you are really interested in targeting one of those niches that you already have an automated Amazon affiliate site for, it could be worth trying to essentially improve the site by adding your own unique content to it. I guess the main thing there is that you would want to make sure that you're not being excluded from Google search results. Just to show you real quick, if you go over to Google and like for one of my websites, like if you just type in site and a colon and then your domain name and just type it in, you should see that Google has indexed some results from that particular page. If Google has not indexed your site and it's been around for a while, then it's possible that it may have already been kicked out. So as long as you can find it on Google, then I feel like there could be a chance to revitalize it, as long as you know that the niche is not too high of competition. I guess we'll get into that again next week in terms of actually figuring out whether a site or a niche might have high competition or low competition, for example. So I may not have a clear answer for you on that now, but if you do decide to update automated sites with your own unique content, put that unique content at the top of all of your pages. For example, if this was an automated page on my site, I would add new unique content to it, somewhere up in this area, and a couple of paragraphs at least worth of unique content, a few hundred words at a minimum. I typically recommend for automated content to maybe not take up more than about 30% of your overall content on any one given page. So in that regard, you can still use some automated content as long as it's simply not the star of your website. Your unique content should be the star of your site, and the automated content simply helps to back up and reinforce some of those ideas, or maybe provide additional information. Yes, Chris. Through the Amazon affiliate site, once you log into your account, I believe it's up in the top left-hand corner. They show you your site ID and your tracking ID. You can go through and create additional tracking IDs. Let's see. Sure, Kathleen. The link from the beginning of the presentation. This is going to be RyanStevensonPlugins.com/AMC. This is just a quick page that I set up earlier tonight to start to add all of the parts of this coaching series into it. Roughly a day before each of the webinars, I will be posting the ebook for the webinar on this page, and then roughly a day after each of the live webinars, I will be adding on the recordings on this page. And I will continue to do this each additional week throughout this series, so there will eventually be a total of 12 ebooks and 12 recordings for you, all from this one single page. So I definitely recommend to bookmark this particular page, because you can continue to come back to this every week from here through the end of the course, which will be in mid-October, I believe. And I will continue to promote and remind you guys of this particular page each week throughout this series, just in case you do happen to lose it. Let's see, Jacques. The affiliate section of Amazon is huge and confusing. Do you go into how to use that at all? I don't believe I actually had that planned into this series. I guess mostly because it was intended on being a series where I'm, showing you my process for creating an Amazon site, instead of more or less just being a basic affiliate tutorial. However, I don't mind at all trying to go into some of that stuff. I should have maybe on week. Let me look at the plans for each week, and I could tell you a specific week where I could try to work that in for you guys. I think once we hit webinar number 8, where we get into advertising creation, I will take some time at the beginning of webinar number 8, and I will go through the actual Amazon affiliate website and explain some of that stuff to you guys. Overall, though, when I'm using, when I'm building these websites, I really don't go to the Amazon affiliate website very often. All of my affiliate links and stuff are all generated through software that I'm using on my WordPress sites, which is all the software that I've provided for you guys for this particular series. So you really don't have a need to explore that a ton, but I will definitely try and touch on that for you, and I'm sure some others will appreciate that as well, because I'm sure you're not the only one that finds that confusing and might want some extra clarification there. Let's see, Janice, when choosing your product at first, do you target a certain price point before choosing my product? Not necessarily. The price point is more or less something that I will look at kind of as an afterthought. I do want to make sure that I have something that I'm promoting on a site that can offer a decent commission, because only promoting, say, $10 or $20 products on a site, while you can definitely earn money that way, the commissions are just not very large, especially when you are at the lower volume commissions. So starting out, it can be a lot better to target, say, a $100 product, because the commission you receive from it will actually feel like it was worth your time. Whereas, if you're earning 50-cent or $1 commissions off of, referring a sale on a $10 or $20 product, then you might not be as motivated to continue to try to refer more sales on those. So I do try to recommend picking out some higher price stuff, but definitely do not leave that as your sole focus. A lot of other Amazon marketers do teach to, like, only go after products that are like $150 in price or something like that, and just ignore everything else. And while that strategy can work, like, I really feel like you're leaving a lot on the table, because not everybody wants to buy something that's $150. You have 20 times more people that will buy a product, that cost, say, $20 than they will that'll buy a $100 product. So while your commissions would be smaller, you'll definitely refer more sales on cheaper products. So it's really something I try to just have a nice mixture of in any of my given sites. Let's see, I guess on the other side of that, Will is asking, what do you think of higher priced exclusive type products in general? By exclusive there, are you referring to the Amazon exclusive products, Will? I'm not necessarily, okay, just hard to find stuff. It could really depend on the actual product that you're trying to target, Will. As long as there is a particular market for what you're trying to sell, even if it is very expensive and highly specialized, as long as you can determine that there are people out there on the internet searching for those products, and that some sales are coming through online, it can be worth your time to try to promote things like that. But again, try not to pour too much effort into it until you have been able to explore a particular niche. Because you definitely don't want to put too much effort into that and then come to figure out that it's simply impossible to convert something like that. However, you would definitely need, the higher priced your product is, the more traffic you will need to your website on a regular basis if you are expecting regular sales on that website. So if you're promoting a multi-$1,000 product, for example, you would probably need potentially a couple thousand people visiting that site every month just to possibly get one sale each month, for example. Whereas if you're promoting cheaper products, you could have a fraction of that traffic and probably reliably get sales more than just once a month, maybe even once a week or even more often than that. Yeah, Marco, if you do know Japanese, that's right, because I was talking to you a little earlier today by email. You live in Japan. If you do know Chinese and you feel like that there are some markets that you could target in that country that may not be common outside of the country, think of specific types of products. It's really hard for me to give an example of this because I'm American, for example, but I'm sure that somebody else in another country could come up with some type of product that is maybe popular there, but in another country it's perhaps never even been heard of or not popular at all. Those types of niches could be, targeted to that particular area by simply using the correct words that go along with that niche or that type of product. Just make sure the words that you're using are words that apply to that type of product and not general words that could apply to other variations of that product in other countries, for example. Let's see, Peter. No, you do not need to enroll for the next webinars. I was originally planning on setting up each of these webinars as an individual webinar on the GoToWebinar site, simply because I've run a couple of these series now, and I've been trying different ways of using the GoToWebinar system, mainly to try and make contact with you guys a little bit easier. So, for example, the recordings that are sent out after each week, GoToWebinar will automatically send out these emails for me after each of the webinars, but they seem to work a little differently when you have a webinar that's scheduled just one at a time as opposed to having an entire series. So I was initially planning on running each of these as an individual webinar, and simply copying the registrants over to each of the new webinars. But I was doing a little bit more looking into that today, and it doesn't look like they offer a way to copy the registrants, although I could have sworn that they did. It's possible they removed that feature. So anyways, the whole thing is just going to be run in a series again. So all of you guys that are registered for tonight's webinar, you're automatically registered for everything else. And you will still receive a reminder email a day before and an hour before each of those webinars begins. Let's see, Mike, how about books? Do I ever promote them? Typically not. I'm trying to think back of whether I've actually built some book-related sites or not. I want to say that I have attempted to build some sites that target maybe some ebooks or something like that. But instead of trying to, I essentially have targeted those ebooks or tried to sell those ebooks through a website that is a helpful type of website, for example, related to a particular niche. And then maybe that there is a particular ebook that I have read that I feel like goes along with the subject. It is definitely a possibility to promote, books as a niche. It's just not something that I have done a lot of in the past. Your commissions off of the Kindle ebooks, for example, will not be very great, especially since basically all of those are going to be $10 or so and less. You're welcome, Peter. See you next week too. But then the real books, for example, that you could actually order and have delivered to your house, those are definitely generally more expensive. They could be up in the $20, $30, $40 neighborhood. If you feel like it works with your niche that you are considering to target, then definitely don't avoid promoting them. It will really just depend on the situation and the particular niche that you're trying to go after. Let's see. I think I have questions answered from everybody now. Yeah, Stan, I think they used to have a way to do it. I almost could have swore that I saw a way to do it. I want to say even last month or something like that, which is why I had originally set it up like this. I'm going to have to go back through and see if they actually removed that, or if perhaps I'm just overlooking it or something. Regardless, though, I guess it's not something you guys really have to worry about. You will be automatically registered for next week's webinar one way or another, and the rest of the webinars in this series, for that matter. You're quite welcome, Randy. Thank you as well. We'll see you next week. Last call for questions for any of you guys for tonight. I will be taking questions every single week throughout this series, so don't necessarily feel like you have to get everything out tonight, especially if it's related to topics that maybe I haven't quite discussed yet. You're very welcome, Nancy. Thank you too. We'll see you next week. Yes, Will. I will definitely get back to you about that. I think I was looking at that earlier today, and was that the long email that you sent? Yeah, okay. I think I figured out that I probably didn't have enough time to respond to it yet. So I will try to get back to you on that tonight if possible, or tomorrow at the latest. Thank you to Will, George, Jacques. I appreciate all your comments, and I will see all of you guys next week as well. Thank you too, Marco. You're also welcome. Let's see, Paula. Ooh, I guess I was thinking that I had answered that one already. Sorry for deleting that question previously if I haven't answered it. You're asking, are you saying you can target quality products with very competitive prices? An example. If I'm understanding that question correctly, yes. I feel like Amazon's exclusive products, in general, seem to be quality products that do have very competitive prices because they do not have to worry about having a retail outlet to sell in. And not only that, the reason why these products are actually high quality products and not just some random cheapy product that Amazon has thrown together is because they actually use a lot of the same manufacturers as other major brands. And they're simply labeling it with their own name. But Amazon has a lot of experience when it comes to selling physical goods. They have access to a ton of sales data and research and other information to where they can look at a potential niche or type of product, and they already know in advance kind of what people are looking for when it comes to that type of product. So I do feel like that they put that extra effort into the products that they take the time to have manufactured. One of them being these Penzon comforters, or honestly would probably apply to the entire Penzon line that they produce. These are actually manufactured by a very reputable company that produces stuff for other brands. I want to say I saw it in one of the reviews, reading through some of this stuff, or it may have just been additional research that I was doing on the Penzon brand itself. But I found out that they are actually manufactured by a very reputable company. Yeah, here we go. It's this bottom review down here. This comforter is manufactured by Downlight. I went to Downlight's website and discovered that they actually manufacture the majority of PrimaLoft bed products, including brands such as the Company Store, Eddie Bauer, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, and for other major hotels. So, you know, Amazon is definitely putting a little bit of extra effort into these products. And when, you know, you're comparing them to other products from other retailers that are just like these products, Amazon does seem to have the more competitive prices. And beyond this, there should be a ton of other cases where this is still true. The Penzon brand is just one particular example of that. You're quite welcome, Paula. Bye for now too, Paula. I will see you next week. Thanks for coming. Pamela, you are quite welcome. I'm glad you learned a lot today. Yeah, I know what you mean. A lot of other webinars are run at like 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from some of the other people that run webinars as well. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is definitely the time that I will be running every other webinar in this particular series. Seems to work out good for me and my family. I have a wife and 3 children, so you know I don't like to try to schedule things at a time that's inconvenient for them, and I'm also trying to, you know, obviously schedule times that are convenient for you guys as well. And 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time seems to work out good for people that live in the USA, but then it also seems to work out good for people on the other side of the world in Australia and Japan and certain countries like that, where 7 p.m. my time is actually morning hours in your countries. So I'm definitely glad to hear that works out good for you guys. Thank you as well, Bernie. See you next week too. Thanks for your comments. Thank you as well, Steve. I appreciate it. I will see you next week as well. If there are no other questions right now, guys, we'll go ahead and call it a night for this evening. My ending time every night is really never set in stone, though. 2 hours is an approximate time for each of my webinars, but I seem to go over most weeks just simply answering questions, which I don't mind doing at all. The next session is going to be August the 15th. It is a Thursday night and not a Friday night next week. Each of the webinars are 6 nights apart, so the day of the week will be changing each particular week, and hopefully this will work out good in terms of helping to ensure that people are able to attend at least some of the webinars from this series. It seems like if I run them all at the same day and the same time, then there are some people who are simply never able to attend because that particular day of the week doesn't work out good for them. So I'll be seeing all you guys next week on Thursday the 15th, same time again. And I will be sure to get this AMC page right here updated with the recording from tonight's session. Hopefully by this time tomorrow night, if not sooner than that. It takes a little while to do some conversions on the recordings and get it uploaded elsewhere for you guys to watch. But I will try to get that up as quickly as possible for you. And we'll see you all next week if nobody else has any additional questions. Thanks again for coming out tonight, everybody. I'm going to stick around for maybe 60 seconds or so just to make sure there are no other questions. And if not, I will see all you guys next week. Thanks again for coming. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take off here, and